Is this a subjective question as well?
Yes.
Because obviously we could answer you that all of them can be cool, but
that would be boring.
Yeah, but because
Hallo und willkommen bei einem weiteren Interview. Heute geht es um das MMO Waven, ein Spiel aus der Schmiede von Ankama. Vielleicht habt ihr ja auch die Anime-Ära von RTL 2 mitbekommen. Irgendwann lief in der Sparte auch der französische Zeichentrick Wakfu, der sich stark von japanischen Anime und amerikanischen Zeichentrickfilmen inspirieren ließ. Zeitgleich wurde auch das gleichnamige MMO veröffentlicht und weiterentwickelt. Und ja, auch das MMO und der Zeichentrick Dofus fällt in das gleiche Universum. Ankama nennt dieses Universum Kosmos. Und dazu zählt auch das neue Spiel Waven. Wir haben mit folgenden Mitgliedern von Ankama gesprochen.
Okay, so my name is Aurore Noury, and I am a narrative designer in the team of Waven. So mostly working on quests and dialogues and everything.
And I am Antoine. I am a game designer, so I'm on the most technical and gameplay part of the game.
Um mehr über das Spiel, ihr Universum und ihre Community zu erfahren. Viel Spaß mit dem Interview. Alright, so the first question I, of course, wanted to ask you, is Waven canon in the Cosmos universe? I think that's something a lot of people would like to know.
Well, obviously, yes. This was a big project for our boss Todd, and he really wanted to do a reboot of everything in his universe, and so this is his way to do it. So yes, obviously, Waven is canon. Yes.
Like the style of the Cosmos universe, be it Wakfu or Dofus or Waven, reminds me a lot of anime style, because I think also this was the series I catched within the anime German TV. So are those things inspired by anime style, or is it just like a coincidence? Or are you and you're more fans of Western comics and wanted to do your own style with that?
No, in a way, that's a mix of all of the things that you talked about, because obviously we are big fans of animes, we're a big fan of Western comics as well. Well, this is a common feature of everyone in the team in a way, so we always add our own references to make a little bit more, to create a little bit more in the game. So yeah, the style is inspired by anime, inspired by Western comics, and we like to make something of our own that can, that people can relate to in a way, because they can, just as you did actually, you can see the references everywhere, and at the same time you have a style of our own.
So why did you decide to put in all of those games turn-based combat instead of, for example, action combat?
That's mostly a gameplay question.
Yeah.
So this kind of game is something that we really mastered through the years. Like, it's been more than 20 years since Ankama started, and this is the kind of game that we really know how to do. And moreover, we used to create other kind of games, but board games, And this is really close to board games, playing with, those cells, those grids. And moreover, that's also a kind of game that allows us to create a very simple system, but in which we can express ourselves through different ways, and very numerous ones. So yeah, that's the kind of gameplay that we also like ourselves to play. We play this kind of game. Most of the game designers play this kind of game.
Even here we love to do it at noon, and we meet each other and we play board games. So this is a way to do it in our own projects. Well, you can take your time and think of what you're doing, and sometimes in many games that you don't have the time, you always set your intention. The experience of game can be intense, but here you can enjoy the time when you think, and then since the combats are not that long, you can have this balance between the time you spend thinking which is enjoyable, and the time you spend in action and doing cool stuff in the game. So this is why we like tactical.
Indeed, it leaves a lot of space to also communicate with your mates, as the social aspect is very important for us in our games. So yeah, that might be a good reason why we do this this way. Indeed.
So if I understand it correctly, you like started with board games and then you wanted this feeling also of like community on a broader scale for the MMOs.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's been Ankama's brand in a way since many years. Yeah.
All right. So I can imagine, like from the older games, you certainly learned a lot of things. What would you say were the most and biggest learnings or the steps that went from the last one to now Waven?
Well, firstly, of course, as we made a lot of these kind of games, we know we have like instinct on what will be fun in those kind of systems of game systems, and we feel very comfortable creating those ones. Moreover, there's of course project management and let's say logistic questions that we
obviously we gained experience in that.
Yeah, of course. And moreover, there's the social question, like how we deal with the community and how we gather the feedbacks. We know that we are way more effective than we were at the beginning.
Yeah, and obviously since the first games of Ankama were MMOs, you needed to have that to understand how a community works and how you can make people bond with each other on an online game, which is not that easy actually. Yeah. So this is something that we really cared about, and my French accent just came along. We try to use that experience to make even greater experiences online for the gamers, the players. Yeah.
How do you actually manage? I was just wondering, how do you manage when people start to behave in a bad way? How do you manage to have a nice community overall?
Yeah, we're the community manager. Maybe we can answer that.
Actually, we don't do this by ourselves, but we have, of course, we have community managers and a whole team just dedicated to this part. Because we had people who were kind of toxic, of course.
Yeah, always.
Especially in our earliest games. But yeah, that's part of the
game,
and of the deal we made when we decided to create social games, of course.
Yeah,
but on that we don't know actually.
No, but this is the first thing that you want to do in this kind of moments is that to communicate with the players, and to ease the communication with the players that are both toxic and victims, obviously. So you need to make everything really, how do you say accessible in English?
Accessible,
right?
Accessible, yeah.
Well, you need to make it easy to reach us. Actually, that's the most important thing, I guess, in the way you manage a community. Yeah. But I'm not an expert.
To be honest, we are really close to our community because, first of all, until now, this is a very French community. We don't have a public that is
well, in Brazil, in Colombia, but
we have other publics, but for now we never really quite went through the US market, for example, or others Europe countries. But for what we've done until now, we always manage to have a really close relationship with our players.
So we hope that it can remain.
We'll keep it that way as much as we can, of course. Yeah. That's part of our pleasure as designers and creators.
So let's talk a little bit more about Waven. You have this interesting classes system, which is divided like in classes and subclasses, and then everyone has a very unique style. And why do you like to divide those playable characters like this?
The simple class system of any game is something that allows players to exploit a game system through different ways. And by doing so, you embody something. Like you can be, a magus, a wizard, a thief, something like that, and that creates identity. You are someone else. You are someone different, and that allows you to try new things. To behave like you don't used to. And so the way we divided our classes is very important for us. First, because it's remnant of all the games. Like our classes in those are the same archetypes that we have in Dofus or Wakfu. However, of course, it must work in new environment and gameplay environment. And in our class, we made sure that we have the classic tropes, like the warrior, the wizard, those kind of things, but with audios that are more specialized in specificities of our systems. We have, for example, the Serams, who are, they look a bit like thieves, but they're more on the, I put traps and I throw you in it kind of gameplay. And this is very specific in Waven, because, of course, this is a tactical, but we have our own systems that make it very unique. Another one that we both really like is the Xelor.
Which is the Master of Time, yeah.
They can play in a very different manner that I'm not sure that I've seen those in other games, to be honest.
And also for the division between classes and subclasses, you have something in the lore of the universe, because you can choose first your race, the visual kind of character that you like, and which is, well, a race in the universe, so just as I said, and then you choose your weapon. So if you want to be just like the big guy in that kind of race in the universe, well, you can be according to what is this race in the universe. If it's, well, we have the Yop, which is the warrior race, so obviously you can be a big guy as a Yop. But maybe if you want to, you can try a bit of that gameplay with another race. And that's also a thing that we love to do, because most of the time the fantasy games or tactical games, they have stereotypes, and you cannot really I don't know, you can mix them or create a unique experience or a customized experience, and we try to help players do that a bit more.
In addition to that, the fact that we have so many different classes, subclasses mostly, is cool, because this is actually a deck building game. And what you are searching as a player is synergies and new combos, So having those different parts of systems allows you to specialize in one thing and try to dig as much as you can in those mechanics. For example, the Yup is very a melee character, so you will try to find any components that will help you in your build, doing so as well as you can. So this is also a very big part that is really very important for us. If you could have access to anything, it would be less fun, I think.
Yeah,
of course.
What's your, subjectively, what's your favorite class?
No, we said it, the Xelor. Actually, both of us say.
The way they play is really unique, and actually there is this. You've watched Wakfu? You told us.
A little bit, a long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the first bad guy.
The first mission was Xelor with
yes.
the all black with his eyes just really blue. And
this one I was a kid when I watched the series. I wasn't even thinking about working here, but this is a bad guy that really he struck me back when I was kid, and since then I really like all the characters that can deal with time and those kind of things. So of course, Xelors are my favorites.
I had a tough time choosing between the Yop and the Xelor, because you have that kind of feeling when you just punch and don't think about it. That's just great. But still, I like the Xelor even before working in Ankama too. So this is a point that we have in common. Because I think they do have character. They can make strong characters, and I just like to invent many things. But also, when I started to play Waven with Xelor, I had this feeling really that I could control time, because I was just moving all around the map, and that was just amazing. I was feeling, in a way, the first time I played.
They are really flexible when you play with them, because you can store some of your resources for later, and that's the time aspect where you delay some of your actions, and while you keep some of your resources back for the first turn, for example, on the second turn you can have bigger turn than any of the places in the game.
Yeah, and that is really smooth in a way. That just happens. I'm not a tactical RPG player at first, and when I just tried this, that was just really happening naturally during the fights. And so, I enjoyed mastering time for a few fights. That was cool.
Yeah, sounds like it's fun doing the thinking stuff, and it's like tactical but not too difficult, so that you don't have to think like a chessboard game necessarily. Maybe,
That's interesting, because in the subclasses of the Xelor, you have indeed one of few subclasses that are specialized in helping you to have. How can I say, to manage really easily your resources, and to be really, it can be really helpful for new players. But others are about really managing it, but in a very precise way. And so as this is about resource management, it can be on the assistance part for new players, or on the perfecting the game system. So this is a really
also
wide class.
Yeah, you talked about the pleasure of thinking during these fights, but also what seems great to me is that the fights are not long. They're never long, and so you have the pleasure of taking your time, and the fights can still remain nervous, and this is a balance that is tricky to create, but still it is one of the pleasure, in my opinion, of our game.
Was the balancing also something like either between the gameplay pleasure or between the classes themselves? Was that something that was also evolving? Was it an important part in evolving Waven, or was it just like something that came naturally even in Dofus back then?
Oh, actually, that's something that came really early on. Like the first alpha, we made different alphas that were public only in French, but we made like 10 of them, something like that. And from the beginning, the game was only PvP, because we wanted to start with a strong PvP balance basis, and now for the last years we worked much more on the PvE aspect, because we wanted the PvE. We want the PvP not to be the main feature of the game. We want it to be an adventure through different places against different great foes. But we started with PvP, which helped us a lot to balance the game. That was really important. Yeah, I realized that now that all almost all the that we made almost all the work, and that was a pretty good idea to start.
Because that was necessary for the rest of the
And we continue to have game designers that are only working
to
this part.
Understand. Also, another important thing in this strategy aspect are the companions, right? You have a lot of them, and they are very sweet. Who do you think are the coolest ones?
Is this a subjective question as well?
Yes.
Because obviously we could answer you that all of them can be cool, but
that would be boring.
Yeah, but because it depends on which one do you want to play with, in a way. I like, I don't know if it's the right translation for the character. I like the Black Crow.
Oh yeah,
the Black Crow, which is just awesome because it has that kind of animation where it just suddenly appears on the battlefield, and I just like to see him work.
Yeah,
he always dies with me, but I love to see him work.
He's another foe of the Wakfu series. He's a minor one, but he's very charismatic actually. The Black Crow.
The Black Crow, yeah.
For me, it might sound silly, but we have the tutorials companions, which are the companions you get at first. They are small seagulls, and they are so cute. And I really hope that we will make.
So you love playing with seagulls, but they die so quickly. You're just cruel, actually.
At the beginning, we thought that there would be just gameplay tutorial companions to help you understand the very basics of the game, because they don't have any complicated mechanics around them. But actually, they fit a very specific space in your deck building, because they are the only companions for now that cost only 2 resources. So that's the technical stuff, but they have.
They are the easiest companions to get on the battlefield.
Both from a visual perspective and from a gameplay perspective, they bring something very, very cool, I think. So for me, it's those little guys.
Okay.
And then I have to ask, because I think this is very important for new players especially, how is it possible to play this MMO from start to finish for free? And what kind of payment systems are you implementing? Because somehow you, of course, also need to live from this.
Well, so the answer to your first question is yes, you can do the whole game entirely for free. You have obviously steps in the game in difficulty or in the way you can access to places, but that's not difficult. Actually, you can access to everything easily.
Anything can be accessible within the game without paying. What we will ask you to pay is cosmetics, actually. So that's very classic. Sometimes we will give a bit more resources to players because we want to, reward them because they paid, but that will never be very important comparing to other players. Like maybe it will help you to, have a few levels, being a few levels higher, but that will never be really impactful, Actually, being a pay-to-win game is something that we really want to avoid, because we know actually nowadays this is not something that we think that can work with
public, with audience,
and moreover with our community, we know that it won't work, and we don't like that.
You know how French people are. They're going to shout even for their video games. So we don't want to step on it.
I would like to know, will there be crossplay between the platforms? And also relating to that, how is it possible to play with friends? How can we communicate with each other on this game?
So yes, there will be crossplay, and obviously a kind of crossplay when you can start a game on one platform and finish it on another one. So this is really easy to make.
Yeah, actually you can in the middle of a fight, you can just leave your computer and take your phone to go elsewhere and continue on your phone. This is really
you really need to go on the subway and that you want to finish your fight while you can.
Of course, you can play with or against your friends. In cooperation, you can be in a team of up to 3 players. Maybe later we want to add new features around that, but I won't talk too much about that because we are not sure yet on what that will be. And of course, the PvP is still important for us, even though it's not the biggest part of the content. We expect a lot of players to dig through the game, maybe only through the PvP, because that's something that we've already seen in our communities. There is this core of hardcore players that are really around PvP, and that we have already many different competitions actually. So yeah, playing with your friends will be, we think, really fun. And a really important aspect of the experience.
My last question is, because I'm very curious, I love to play strategy RPGs myself very much. I was wondering whether you guys had any inspirations, or do you have just favorite games that you like in this genre?
Yeah, actually, on Waven, we of course took inspiration from our other games, but we might have looked more through card games actually than tactical games, because of the deck building aspect. We know that Todd, our boss, is really enjoys a lot card games such as Hearthstone, sorry. This is the game he really likes. I really love this game. That might be the game I played the most. We play Magic with our colleague a lot. I played this. Game.
Yeah, you played this today. Yes.
For me, as a designer, and on a more specific mechanics that might be specific to one quest, for example, I take a lot of inspiration from Into the Breach, which is a really cool tactical game that was made by the guys who made Faster Than Light. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah.
And so nice. That's the only other tactical RPG that I know that uses a very small board. And so this is closer to Waven than, for example, XCOM, which has a strong emphasis on the level design, and on the shooting part, which is something that we don't have in our universe or in our game. So yeah.
Well, and me, I don't have much to say about it because, as I said, technical were not my thing a few years ago. But still, Faster Than Light, I just remember that I love this one. And well, one of my favorites, but this is in a more serious atmosphere, is Empire of Sin, which is one that I love really much. But this is not the kind of game that we make here. But still, I enjoyed this one.
I understand. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for answering all the questions so greatly. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, it was nice. Thank you very much.
Bye. Waven soll noch dieses Jahr erscheinen. Ein Release-Datum wurde zwar noch nicht bestätigt, aber ihr könnt bereits die Demo spielen. Unsere Eindrücke dazu findet ihr im unten verlinkten Artikel.